Hi, this is Nick from Talkhouse, and you're listening to the latest episode of my spin-off series of the Talkhouse Podcast called Nobody's Ever Asked Me That. Each episode, I talk to a filmmaker, musician, or writer and aim to ask them questions they've never heard before in an interview, in an effort to discover a different side of them and understand them better. The format of the show is inherently a little experimental. The aim is to go to new places in these conversations, to follow my curiosity, in an attempt to explore the inner lives of artists whose work I love. My ground rules here are that I don't ask questions I wouldn't myself be comfortable answering, and I let guests know beforehand that if they don't want to answer a question, that's totally fine. The guest on today's episode is Michel Gondry, arguably one of the most creative and original filmmakers working today. A visionary who first showcased his imagination in a series of dazzling music videos, Gondry blossomed into a Hollywood filmmaker with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and has since dotted between studio movies and indie features, working both in the US and in his native France. I'm a huge fan of Gondry's work, so when he was doing press for his latest film, Maya Give Me a Title, I jumped at the chance to talk to him. This film is a real curiosity. Just an hour long, it's a home movie of sorts, a collection of handmade animations created by Gondry for his young daughter Maya, who he sees only infrequently due to his work, based on prompts for stories that she gives him. Gondry never intended the project to be seen by anyone but Maya and her mother, but ultimately realized that what he'd made might coalesce nicely into something he could share with the world at large. Maya Give Me a Title is a true delight, bearing the hallmarks of Gondry's best work, a playfulness and childlike innocence paired with a nimbly imaginative approach to storytelling. My conversation with Gondry was prompted by this movie, but also took place in the shadow of another film, Golden, a big-budget studio movie produced by Pharrell, which, shortly before we spoke, Universal had decided to scrap, after it had been shot. A condition of my talking to Gondry was that I steer clear of this project, which I dutifully did, but there was still a moment of awkwardness at one point. Gondry was, however, game to answer almost all of my questions, and our conversation was a very illuminating one, in which we talked about him learning a sense of play from cats, the pivotal moment when he decided to work only on his own terms, his earliest childhood memories, taking David Lynch's advice for his 2015 movie Microbe and Gasoline, watching that same movie alone on a plane, why people's fixation on the Bermuda Triangle is nonsense, and much more. Can we talk about play?
Play?
Play, yes.
Like the play in theater, or to play with...
Play like a sense of youthful exploration. I think there is this sense of exploration and joyful innocence in your work, and I'm really interested to know the way in which you manage to keep that in your life and in your work.
I think it's mostly some quality, but not in terms of like something positive. It's just a function to discover and try things without to have to ask for answer to adult or other people, and to find your answer yourself that you have when you grow up and your brain develops. And I kept this quality, this method. I like to find out things. And if you look at cats, they learn the world and the skills they need by playing. And they do it less when they become adult, still a bit. But I think since I had some success, not necessarily professionally, but even in socially, in keeping this quality, I just kept them, and they serve me well.
Is that a natural thing? They stay there because of who you are, or does it require effort or maintenance or anything like that?
It's a bit of both. But I remember, I think it's in my nature, but also I took, after when I was 20, I had a job where I was doing digital graphic, something like that. And I was not very good, but I talked with this person who was a bit aggressive, and it was 9 a.m. and I left the place. I went back to bed and I told her, I don't like the way you talk to me. And I went to bed and I said to myself that I would never work for anybody, which I successfully did, except that you have a lot of compromise when you make movies.
Yeah.
But mostly I kept to my word. And so this was a decision. And also, I mean, I think when you continue to behave or make things the way you do it when you're a kid, is you accept it's not completely finished, and you expect the viewer to complete the finishing, the detail to make it realistic. That's, in my opinion, how it works.
Do you get attached to ideas? If you have an idea and you're sort of exploring it, you're playing around with it, is it something where you have a lot of ideas and you're willing to throw them out and find another one? Or is it that if you have an idea, it's something that you really work at and keep going with?
Well, it's both. If I have an idea, I get attached to it. And it's like a person in a way. I really get attached to it. And sometimes more so when the idea sort of seems a little weak or wrong or sick, and I make it work for the purpose, I become more attached to it because the effort I make to make it possible add to its quality in a way. But in general, yes, I get attached, but a lot of time I have to give up on going to another direction.
Yeah.
Sometimes I take them back as they stay in me, and I take them back for something else.
I watched your new film today, and it gave me a sense of hope and an escape as well. And I was wondering, for you in your work, does it hang heavy on you with a project like this, or is it also an escape in the same way that it is for the viewer?
Well, the viewer was Maya only.
Yeah.
Her mother a little bit, because her mother would read the text, the written part. So I had no idea, zero idea that I would end up to make a movie and put it on screen. It's just at the very end when I thought, okay, maybe that would be fun. But I was basically entertaining her. That was the main goal, and find a way to maneuver to incorporate the title and to make the story fitting the title, which was a sort of a game for me. And it was very fun and free to invent stories.
Yeah.
And I think it made me work on my storytelling, even though I don't think I apply all the theories on storytelling, which I hate.
Yeah.
I had total freedom, but it has to make sense, and I try to give a nice, fun personality to each character.
Can we talk a little bit about childhood? Because I think it's always really rich territory. Do you know what your first memory is?
Yeah, it's in the classroom when I was 4 or 3. And I had one kid that I remembered from the previous grade. And I looked at him I was on the side and I saw him over the heater. Then another one was in the yard, and the sky was heavy.
Do you think that the way that memory functions has changed due to technology? Because I find myself sometimes, like when I was younger, like when I was like 5 or 6, sometimes I would be like, I don't remember whether that was a dream that I had about something that seemed real, or if that's actually a memory. Whereas now, like my daughter gets confused between memories that she had or stories that she's told or videos of things that she saw when somebody took a video of her. How do you feel like memory has changed?
Well, it's hard to answer because it changes more with age. In aging, it gets weaker. I mean, at least for me. I mean, if you would compare a dream with reality, this happened to me, but not a movie. Or I don't play video games, but I don't think a movie, because when you watch a movie, you really know it's not true. So it's registered, in my opinion, in a different place. Or as for a dream, you believe it's true. You have a different emotion. It's happening to you. As in a movie, it's not happening to you. It's happening to other people. So I would not be confused. I try to remember. No, but I would be confused with something that happened to my brother, for instance. I had some memories that I got confused. So it was me and it was my brother who had the experience.
Yeah, that's interesting. Were you very close?
Yeah, we were like 3 brothers with 18 months in between each.
Okay.
So we are very close.
Where were you in the 3?
In the middle.
In the middle. I'm trying to think about the traits of a middle child. Do you feel like you were a typical middle child?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was in a bit with my friend at school. I had such a different uprising. And I can't compare.
Yeah.
I think it's a good place to be, but there is much more other element that makes it better or bad.
Yeah.
Or worse.
No, I think the cliche about the middle child is that, they're not the baby, they're not the oldest one, and it's about trying to find a sense of identity that sets them apart. When you were young, was there like a thing that you had, like Michel, he's the one who draws, or he's the one who...
Yes, I had that.
What was your thing?
My thing?
Yeah.
I was good at art and drawing.
Yeah. Was that sort of the main way that you were defined to your family or to your friends?
I'm sorry, I feel uncomfortable with...
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
So it's not enough related to the movie, I feel. I know you're trying to find a different approach, but I don't feel I'm not ready to do that. I feel I'm talking to a psychoanalysis analyst.
Okay.
And,
can we try and find some safer territory?
I mean, those are questions I can. Those are subjects I bring, but being asked specifically, it makes me uncomfortable, because I read an article where they describe some pathology based on one interview, and it's not pleasant.
Oh, about you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's definitely not what I'm going for.
No, I know, but that's what happened if I go into this territory.
Okay. Maybe we can sort of pivot a little bit. Do you mind if I ask some silly questions?
Well, but it's the same. But I hope you're not gonna try by other way to get those information. I mean, we're not. Okay.
No. Can I ask you if you have a karaoke song?
We went to karaoke in Japan with my girlfriend, and we rehearsed a Shaka Khan song or Rufus song a week, and it was "Give Me Something Good." It's a very famous one.
Yeah.
When we went there, they didn't have it, so I did Sony instead.
Okay. By which artist?
Well, Sony, everybody. Stevie Wonder did it. Their author is called Webb. And Bukati and the MGs, and many people did it.
I remember I set up a conversation between you and the filmmaker Terrence Nance a few years back, maybe 6 or 7 years back, and you were talking about having Booker T and the MGs in Be Kind Rewind.
Yeah, I played with them actually.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And they were in the long version. There is a scene with Booker T and Steve Cropper.
Yeah.
In the train.
Yeah, you were talking about playing the drums as well. In Maya, we see the cartoon version of you playing the drums.
Yeah.
Is it the first time you being a drummer has sort of been prominent in your art, or?
Oh, I did few videos when I was playing the drums.
Okay.
There is one, but it's just on internet. It's
Okay.
called Drum and Drummer, based on Dumb and Dumber.
Okay. I'm interested about sort of like the way the different artistic disciplines function in our lives. Like for you, is playing the drums, does it use a different part of your brain, or is it a different kind of release than, say, doing animation or writing screenplay or being on set?
It's hard to tell. I mean, we don't know how it works inside the head, but
Yeah.
there are, I think, overlapping parts that are helping for different function.
Mm-hmm.
So they could help and they could damage also. When I started to do videos, I edited myself, but I edited everything on the beat.
Mm-hmm.
And that was too heavy, so I had to change. And I started to work with editor, and it was much better.
That's interesting. So that sense of rhythm is a commonality.
I guess a little bit, yes.
Is playing the drums like an escape for you? Like, does it feel freer? Did the outcomes feel less heavy than if you were working on a film?
I mean, you take two things that are not comparable. When I work on my film, I work 5 years. And if I do the drum, it's like 5 minutes.
Okay.
So there is a certain aspect of command and quick decision that you could compare. Or backbone structure, maybe. But it's always too easy to make connection like that. I know it sounds good, but a lot of time it's coincidence.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit reluctant to make this great piece.
No, I mean, I think
the first thing I made, I started drum because I thought it would give me more masculinity.
Okay.
And then it turned to creativity. Making movies, I had no idea I would make movies. Making movies is it's a construct. You build something from scratch to the end, and it's so diverse activities, and you have to keep straight, and it's very demanding, but very various too.
Yeah. Are you good at enjoying your successes? Because something I've observed about myself, like I had a book that came out some years ago, and the day that it was published or the day that there were good reviews that it got, like I didn't really feel any different. And I always interested with people who are prolific artists, whether those sort of big days, as it were, the release day or the day that you picture lock or the day that you premiere, how success or those moments of completion, what they feel like for you.
No, it feels good. I mean, of course, I like when things work, when people appreciate them. Also, however, I always keep my head cold. That's a French expression, knowing that even if there is some success now, it doesn't mean it's going to stay forever, last forever. So I had a very solid success with Eternal Sunshine. It was it's still now and still growing. So it's very good, but it's sometimes a little disappointing that every movie I do, people always prefer this one. But on the other hand, if it's one of the reasons I keep making movies, it's still good. But I was ready when, after this film, to not have this type of success again.
After Eternal Sunshine, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it because it felt unusual or uncomfortable? Like, what was the reason that
No,
you
I didn't feel uncomfortable. It felt good. But the thing is, it didn't explode. It ramped up. We had other movies that came out the same week that had much more success. So it was... Yeah, I had no idea, but it was not like a big thing. I never had a big explosion or like a huge box office, a very broad success overnight. So I didn't have time really to opportunity to experience this type of feelings.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Can I ask if you have a morning routine or you have an evening routine? I'm always interested about creative people's, the things that they put in place, systems or ways to be productive or creative, and whether you have things like that.
I'm a very bad sleeper. I have a very hard time to sleep. Generally, I start to sleep around 3 or 4 a.m. And I wake up, depending. Sometimes I wake up very early and I have very little sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's the pain. It's not to have more idea or anything. Sometimes I do animation in the middle of the night because I don't have anything to do. And now I don't have much to do. I just finished another film in animation. So that kept me going. And no, night is a bad thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was not like that. I had normal sleep. I never had a normal sleep.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds really... does anything good creatively come out of that, or is it just something that you struggle to work around?
Well, I have very vivid dreams. I don't know if it's due to the fact I sleep very little. So my dreams are very compressed. So, and I had some idea from dreams. When I did Microbe and Gasoline, the first half of the film, I put some little cards following the advice of David Lynch. I wrote my scene on little cards, and the first part is my memories, and the second part, in between each memories, I had the dream, and basically what I did is I took the dream in between each scene and I put them for the second part. The second part of the movie are mostly dreams I had during the writing of the first part.
That's great. Yeah, I need to revisit that film. I like it a lot.
It's maybe my favorite of the one I did.
That's interesting. That's purely an emotional thing, or is it because the film is so personal, or?
I mean, I think the first thing would be that I really enjoy working with those two teenagers. We had such a good time, and I think they are very genuine. I like the tone they give, and I sort of achieved a dream I had when I was their age, and we didn't do it. We wanted to do it, but we didn't do it. So I used the film to do it. On the way, they talk about their problems. It's written a little over the top, but I think they made it sound genuine.
When you were making that film, at what point does it become your favorite? Is it when you're shooting it? Is it when you're editing it and you're seeing it come together? Is it when it's finished?
No, it's with the time. And I'm not sure even, but I think I watched it once on my own. It was in the plane. It was on the program, so I watched it to check the quality, and then I watched it all the way to the end.
That's great.
And it was interesting because we never do that, to be one-to-one with your movie.
Yeah.
And it sounds narcissist, but I don't think it is. It's just when you watch the film, you're always with somebody, the producer, the editor, the audience, and you're influenced by their reaction. So if you watch it on your own, it's really your work on yourself, and you can have an objective opinion on yourself. And so I was alone with my film, and in a way I was back with those two young guys that don't exist anymore because now they are more adult. So it was a moment of their life and a moment of my life. And the music, I don't know, all the ensemble made it that and the mood we had during the shooting.
Yeah, there's a purity to that, I guess, of none of that other stuff, but just you being able to experience the film in a straightforward way. I think we have time for one more question, so I'm trying to choose it very carefully. This is another one that's sort of a little bit unusual, but have you ever seen a ghost? I'm interested about whether the supernatural is anything that you've ever experienced or have any feelings about.
Skeptical. I grew up with a lot of artificial beliefs, spiritual idiocracy. I became much more interested in science, and people confuse with what they feel inside to what there is outside.
Mm-hmm.
Because they feel there is something and they think it is there for real. But the body works super hard to make things look normal.
Yeah.
So to see absurd or weird stuff, it's what's normal to me. And that's why people take some hallucinogen drugs. And it's just to put some sand in your system and the grind, and it's more back to normal, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish I could see ghosts and stuff, but I would have, even if I see somebody in front of me that's supposed to be dead, I would have a million of other explanations.
Mm-hmm.
That, okay, it's supposed to.
So have there been sort of bizarre experiences that you've had that have just felt normal to you?
Oh, yes. For instance, I play a lot of books and tape, audiobooks, when I do animation, and so many times I draw lips on the word, the cassette, the tape says lips.
Mm-hmm.
Or I write a word, balcony, on the word, the tape says balcony. And first I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then I realized why there is, I draw many things and they say many words and it's normal process.
Yeah.
People think there is no coincidence. Yes, it's full of coincidence. Like the Bermuda Triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean with, I don't know if I say, it's a place on the earth where everything disappears. So people find it incredible, but I think what would be incredible if every place on earth would have the same amount of disappearance. And it's normal that there is one which has more than other.
Yeah.
And then you talk about it again and again, and then it becomes a supernatural phenomenon.
Yeah. We only notice when things intersect or when they coincide. Yeah.
And we like stories.
Right.
That's human nature. We want stories. So we're always going to favor, when we watch, we see something, favor the explanation that fulfills the desire to experience a story. Yeah. Something you can tell to your friend or to yourself.
Well, I love that we finished with stories, because the film is really all about telling stories and sharing stories.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for taking the time to talk today.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much to Michel Gondry for talking with me, and thanks to you for listening. Maya Give Me a Title is currently playing the film festival circuit. You should go seek it out if you can. This episode was produced by Myron Kaplan, and the theme music is by The Range. If you haven't already, please rate, review, and subscribe to the Talkhouse Podcast, and keep your eyes and ears peeled for another of these special Nobody's Ever Asked Me That episodes.